Okay, hello everyone. My name is Elias Dean. This is my Summa article presentation video. So we'll basically going over my version of a Summa article by St. Thomas Aquinas. So the Summa article that we will be going over today, basically a quick outline is we're going to be going over the question and the article and my version of it, and then we'll go over the arguments. And the counter or the objections, right, to the article. No, yeah, the article. And then I said contra, the response to my response to the question, and then my counter arguments against the objections. And so the question and the article is that question 75, article 3, are the souls of animals subsistent, right? This is my version of the article. And so the objections will be saying that yes, the souls of animals are subsistent, and it's because the whole argument will be that um, animals have a lot in common with humans, and so who's to say that the soul isn't one of those things? So, objection number one: adaptation and change. Animals have shown themselves capable to respond to the environment they are in and adapt to it. For example, Darwin's finches, right? So the argument here is that animals have sentience, right, which is the experience of feelings, cognitive ability, and sensation, right? So for Darwin's finches, they show that they have sentience because if you don't know the story behind that, there are a bunch of islands in the Galapagos, right? Those islands are separated, by miles, right? Those birds have to adapt to the different environments on those islands, right? Some islands might have a lot more cacti than others. Other environments might have more bugs to feed on, right? And so they have to change the shape of their beaks. Therefore, they're able to adapt to the environment that they're in. So that shows that animals have sentience because sentience is the experience of feelings and cognitive ability, right? If they're able to experience through their cognitive ability a change in their environment and change what they do and how they are to do better in that environment, this shows that animals have sentience, right? Because they know that they're alive and they want to stay alive. And so humans have that same ability, right? We're able to, let's say, change our clothes, for example, right? If it's too cold, we put on more clothes. If it's too hot, we take off clothes, right? Um, that shows that we're able to adapt to our environment on, a less what's it called? Less dramatic stage. We don't change out our nose based on how bad something smells, right? We don't do that. We don't do exactly what the finches do, but they do basically the same thing. They change to the environment that they're in, which we do as well. So, objection number two: animal intellect. Some animals have the ability to solve equations. They have the ability to solve puzzles, use tools, play games, and many more, right? Um, just like how humans do. Humans have the ability to do all these same things, right? And intelligence is described as the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills, right? So the two famous examples I will be using is Nim the chimp and Natasha, right? Natasha is shown on the left here, no, right here, sorry, on the right. And basically, Natasha's story is that they gave her a bunch of IQ tests. Her and the researchers that were researching her gave her and a bunch of other chimps, around her, the same type of IQ test where she excelled in. Right. Here's an example of IQ test that they did on apes. Now, this isn't Natasha, but she did take tests like this where they shown a bunch of numbers on state or on the screen, for maybe like 2 or 3 seconds. Then they had to find where the numbers were in order, right? So they went one, two, three, 4, right? Where those numbers were in order, and she excelled at these quizzes. So that shows that yes, animals do have intellect, and she did it for a reward too. So she was able to apply that knowledge and the skills that she gained for reward. And then the chimp, after being taught sign language, has the longest sentence that any other animal has ever, out of any animal ever. And it's a coherent sentence, right? You're able to understand it at least, give orange, me give eat orange, me eat orange, give me eat orange, give me you. He's asking, you know what he's saying, he's asking for an orange, so that he can eat it, and he's asking you to get it for him, right? You're able to understand it, and so after being taught sign language, he was able to apply that knowledge in order to get something out of you. So yeah, that shows that animals have intellect just like how humans do. If you teach a human sign language, he's able to, might be rudimentary at first, but yes, he's able to learn it. He's able to apply it. And so the third way that animals have that are alike to humans, right? That animals have sadness and guilt, right? We've seen this with, let's say like you have two dogs, right? And one of those dogs is older. Well, when that dog dies, what does the other dog do along with humans? They grieve. They feel sad that they lost a friend, right? So animals do look sad when other animals die. They also look guilty whenever they do something wrong. I mean, we've seen this when your dog pees on the carpet. I mean, if a dog pees on the carpet and you yell at it, it looks sad because they know that they did something wrong. Even if they weren't able to hold it, for example, the dog understands like, oh man, I really messed up. I look sad. I feel guilt, right? That shows that they have a conscience. Same as humans have a conscience, right? Humans have a conscience because we have we know whether something is right or wrong. Thus animals have a conscience, just like us. So who's to say that they aren't like us in more ways, like having a soul that's subsistent? Now, these are very good arguments. You're saying that humans and animals are alike because, or have animals have subsistent soul because humans and animals act alike. But contrary to this, St. John Paul II states that the human soul is spiritual and man is created in the image and likeness of God. It doesn't mention animals. So that'll be my response to this is my response to the original question. Yes, all creatures have souls. However, the human soul is different. As animal souls are only drawn to base desires, human souls are drawn to base desires as well, but we are also drawn to higher things. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs is what I'll be using to basically describe what I'm talking about. Animals, animals can only go through the physiological needs, right? They have a need to breathe, food, water, shelter, clothing, and sleep. Animals can only do that. They can't worry. They don't worry about employment, health, property, family, or social ability, right? However, humans, we, after meeting like what every physiological need, we transcend that. We have more needs, right? Health, employment, property, security, right? These are still, grounded, like, physical things, right? However, you know, some things are just like above that, right? Love and beyonding, self-esteem and self-actualization, right? Once we reach the top here, these are things only like humans can understand, right? Morality, creativity, experience, purpose, right? And meaning. Animals don't understand that. You can't have a dog understand, why it's wrong to kill someone, right? Dogs will go after babies. Dogs will go after babies if they feel like they need to, you know. But they don't understand morality. They don't understand true right and wrong. And you might be like, well, objection three. Well, we'll address objection three later on. So that's my response. So here's my replies to the objection. So objection number one, yes, animals do change according to their current state, right? We're not arguing that adaptation doesn't exist. And yes, that does show that they have sentience, but this does not prove that they have like a subsistent soul. I'm sorry, that was supposed to say subsistent soul. And it's only because that they have thousands of years of evolution, adaptation, and learned behavior. Whereas humans, on the other hand, have rational thought and intelligence, right? So even if animals have sentience, this does not mean that they are equivalent to humans because they lack rational thought and intelligence, or you know even though. So that leads me to objection number two, right? Animals do show impressive cognitive ability, right? This comes from instincts and the brain, right? Just like how last time, this comes from like survival and adaptation, right? Adaptation, um, right? It shows their ability to change with what's around them, right? But man, like animals, use their intelligence for tools and games, but also for higher thought and think toward the inward self. So this goes along with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like I said before, humans are able to transcend and think about, you know, religion, theology. We're able to think about philosophy, Animals are not able to do these things. They're just able to learn of instinct and what gives them their base desire. So like for like the chimps, for example, the chimps were just doing the tests and they were doing good at them, but it was just memorization of numbers and where those numbers were at in order to get food. They aren't thinking about, well, how do these numbers apply to me? How what's 5 bananas to 3 bananas, right? They weren't thinking about that. They were just thinking like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and where they were on the screen. So that shows that they have intelligence, but there's no sign of like a subsistent soul. So objection 3, it's true that animals display sadness and guilt, right? They display those, but that does not mean that they have a subsistent soul. And it's because animals survive in groups. So if an animal is punished, they're in pain, right? So that's their way. They show, everyone's to avoid pain, right? And so if they show guilt, you're not, they get out of punishment. For example, if your dog pees on the carpet, they're afraid to get hit, but like, spanked, or like they're afraid of getting punished. So they'll show guilt, they'll show that like, oh, they're sorry, but they don't understand why they're sorry. They were just doing a natural thing, peeing, right? So thus they don't have a conscience because they just don't understand right and wrong. They just understand like, oh, you know, I have to pee. I'm gonna go pee. But yeah, so like I said, they don't understand right from wrong. Whereas humanity does, right? We do understand that, like, oh, it's only right to, do certain things like peeing in a certain place in the bathroom, right? Or we know that it's wrong to kill, right? Animals don't understand that's wrong to kill. They'll go after, dogs will go after a squirrel. If dogs will just kill a squirrel. But humanity understands that, oh, some things, it's wrong to kill like that. And so uh, we have a subsistent soul because like we don't have these things in common with animals. So here's some sources and sources for the pictures. I will be putting them in the description just in case you want to check them out. Here's some more. And yes, thank you for listening and have a great rest of your year. All right, bye bye.